So we'll start with instance of keyword. It's a keyword in Java which helps you test or know that you have got a right object of a right class. So you want to be sure whether you are carrying a correct object of a particular hierarchy or a particular class. This keyword helps you confirm that. Now, what happens once you confirm the same? See, you are interested in the methods of a object basically, and this keyword will give you further surety that the methods that you are calling you know will be called from that same class where you as a programmer is expecting you know to be called. And one more thing which is good about this keyword is if object is null, then this keyword does not work. So class cast and null pointer exceptions don't come if we use when we use this keyword, right? So to begin with, right, so we will first prove that same statement about the instance of keyword. So let's say this is the class name itself, it could be any other name also. But if I just want to check or be sure about this keyword, then right, I'll just create an instance of this class and confirm with the help of instance of keyword that that let's say this is an instance of this class, right? And after that I just check whether I am carrying a if this gives me true, this statement simply proves one line, which is that the object belongs to this class, true. And as I was telling you, if the object is null, you know it could be null anywhere in the project, you know then the same thing will give me false. And these kind of statement one can put as part of if statement, switch case, while loop, for loop. So you know this is a boolean expression. So we have just proved one statement. Now let's say I have got let's create another example to understand this keyword better, right? So I have created a parent class, let's say, and I've got two child classes which are a parent, which are child of parent. So this could be a very common scenario in any project that you have got multiple child classes and you have got one random interface also, right? As of now this interface has nothing to do with these classes, right? So now when I say I have created an instance of parent, it will say yes, object 1 is an instance of this parent. This will give me true, right? We have already seen that. But if I create an instance of child, right, it will say that I am an instance of child 1. Similarly, if I say I have created an instance of child 2, it will say that this particular object is an instance of child 2, right? So right now 3 true will come. all trues will come. But now what I'm going to do, this obj2, this obj2 is also an instance of parent, right? Further this statement, this will also comes out to be true, right? But if I try to say this obj2 is also an instance of child 2, it will give me a compilation error which says incompatibility between child 1 and child 2, because there is no relation as such, right? There is no relation as such between uh, this child 1 and child 2. So I simply cannot say that the object of child 1 be equivalent to the object of, or I can't use that, right? Right, so this gives me a compilation error. I can't do that, so I commented out this piece of code. Further, if I do this and child 3, which is an instance of child 2, I cannot say that child 3 is an instance of child 1, object 3. That is also wrong. That also gives me a compilation error, right? So this keyword is helping me go correct in the in coding, so that I don't hit the wrong class, right? And and if randomly, here I checked obj2 is an instance of 2, this will also comes out to be true, right? But vice versa is not true. I can't say obj1 is an instance of child 1. That I can't say. That will come out to be false. If I say obj1 is an instance of child 1 or obj1 is an instance of child 2, that we can't say. That will come out to be false, right? Because we can go in the hierarchy. We can't come down in the hierarchy. So parent cannot be an instance of child. Child can be an instance of parent. So if that is true, you have all the access to the parent class functions. That is the point about inheritance, right? So this is the basic understanding one needs to have, and in Java code this gives us that understanding. And randomly, if I pick that object 1 is also an instance of this interface called ABC, randomly I have picked it up. So this gives me again false, because there is no relation between child 1 and this interface right now, right? So you will never encounter null pointer or class cast if you use these statement as part of if else, that code, right? I'm audible, right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay, okay. So you know so first step is to understand this instance of. Then the same concept is taken to another level with the help of casting. Once we are sure we have got the right object, then I need to understand upcasting or downcasting. Upcasting and downcasting. Up casting is basically, you know, that uh, you know I have a object of one class. Either I want to take it to the parent one, or I want to bring that down to child. That is my requirement. So that we can do, but day to day concepts are coming that the point about casting might not be required in the coming Java version, but still in projects we are still using JDK 1.5 or 1.7 or 8. So till there casting is, you know, is a necessity sometimes, right? So point is, I want to either downcast the object to child one because I am interested in child class object, or I want to upcast the object to parent because I am interested in parent class functions. I am doing this only because I want to access a particular function in the parent, or I want to access the particular function in the child. That is my only objective when I talk about casting, and even in the instance of keyword, that is the only objective, so that I don't hit the wrong method of a particular class, right? That is the ultimate objective why we are talking about this concept. So to understand casting, upcasting and downcasting, and before I give you an example, you should also know that upcasting happens automatically in Java. You don't have to do anything for that. I'll explain you how it looks like. And downcasting is done intentionally by a programmer. It is a need of a programmer to do downcasting. That also I will explain you. Right. So,
Okay.
casting thing. So let's say I have this parent class, and machine is a parent, or camera or computer or any particular machine is a child, and I told camera that you are actually coming in the hierarchy of parent. So parent has got one method that if the moment machine will start, I will print just one message, that machine is started. Machine has started, or machine started. Let's say I will give this message. But when camera will start, since this is a child class, so I can very well override this function. And this annotation, this is not mandatory, but you can still use it so that you know everyone comes to know that you are trying to override this function from a parent. So here I simply said camera has started, right? And here I have one more function which is called as snap, which simply says, photo is clicked, photograph clicked. So these are the two functions as part of child. Now here I want to learn casting because child has got 2, parent has got 1. Now requirement number 1 is I am only interested in the parent class function. So I created a parent class object. Now when I run this, I can call start. First of all, I don't have the access to snap function. You can see we don't have the access to the same. So it will simply print me machine started because I created the object of parent. Then I said, and we can very well use instance of keyword also here over here, right? Then I said, let me call the child class start function. Now it will say camera started because I created the object of child. And I could have also said snap function. It could have given me photograph clicked because of the same reason. It is a child class object, so I have the access to all the function. Now comes the third and the last way. I mean, there are other techniques also of object creation that I am not denying, right? But here you are saying, parent on the left and child on the right. This is how objects are created in the inheritance relationship classes. Now what does it mean? It means the object belongs to parent only, but since it is overridden in child, so we have no option but to execute the child method only. But since object belongs to parent, so you will not get the access to this snap method. Again I am repeating it. You only have the access to start method because object belongs to parent and parent only has start method. But it will run the child method because same method is overridden by child. So it will say camera started. That is you know that is what is going to happen. But the object belongs to parent, and this is called as upcasting. This is happening in Java. You are simply saying object belongs to parent. I have no problem because I am interested in the parent class function. But since it is overridden in child, that is why we have to execute this child class function. But if let's say there is one more method in parent, which is you know machine stop. Let's say there is a stop function. So here I simply said machine has stopped. Right. So now I will get access to one more method, which is stop. Since it is not overridden in child, now it will print machine stopped. But what I have gathered here is this is called as upcasting, and these are how objects are created. Now comes downcasting. This is done intentionally by a programmer. Why? Because they are now interested in only child class functions. So first we will learn the wrong way, the incorrect way, the way which raise the exception, which is a problematic scenario. I mean, if you create an object not like this, but here you have mentioned the object belongs to parent only, but you are saying we would like to downgrade the object of parent to child, right? Here if I call with this object the start method, it will give me a exception. Here you see it says class cast exception. So there is a problem with this statement, that nowhere in the object creation you have mentioned that there is a relationship between camera and child and you have started to downgrade the object. No, that is not possible. Now what is a correct scenario? So correct scenario is this, where you mention specifically at the time of object creation that there is a relationship. Now you downgrade it, we have no problem. You are simply saying this M4 is actually child object. No problem. Now call this the start method. Now call the snap method. You will not get any exception. So just to avoid the exception from getting printed, I just commented out this earlier statement. So now when I run this, you see here I did this start stop. I did I save this file m3 m4 sorry m4 c3, and with c3 we are calling this, right? So you see it ran absolutely fine now, because we can only downgrade the object if a relationship is mentioned in the first place. So these three things that we have learned, we can take other examples also. These three things that we have learned is only to avoid from any runtime exception coming in the project when it runs in the production environment. Instance of tells us you are carrying a correct object of a correct class, you can move ahead. If it is null, I will not execute. Casting, do I have the access to parent functions in the framework level? Yes, because you just need to make sure objects are created correctly. Similarly, downcasting, you are interested in the methods of a child classes, but you have an object of a parent class. in the method as part of a method parameter, what will you do? You have to downgrade it. So this entire thing that we have learned is only to capture the right method of a right class and not to get any runtime exceptions. So this instance of and casting goes hand in hand basically. And once we get ourselves, you know, familiar with this concept, the class cast, the null pointers, the other runtime exceptions that we get because of gathering the wrong object of a particular class, that so no, those scenarios will not come,
Okay, got it.
right? After this comes the object class functions.